Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies and television series and all things pop culture. This is Celebrity Legal News, honey. This is my weekly update of the Lively and Baldoni uh, lawsuit update. Uh, Housekeeping. Please like this video and please share this video on your social medias. I really do appreciate it. And I really do appreciate all of you all that have subscribed to my channel. Y'all, I am at, hold on. 1,188. Y'all hit that like button and subscribe. Help me reach my goal of 5,000 subscribers. Please tell a friend, tell a kin that I'm over here making these videos. Y'all, let's get started. Let's get started. All right. Y'all, it's been a lot of not so much legal news. I mean, I don't follow every piece of docket information that comes out because sometimes it's just a little bit of just of an update, or they're one party is adding this information in, and it would just take a lot to do for me to do that with all the other responsibilities and things that I have. However, we've got some news going on. Let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. I need to I'm just changing these colors, child. You can never match these colors. That's gonna do. All right, let me share my screen. Oh, all right, here we go. So we have our lively update. Let's see what the first so here are the important court dates that have come out. Shout out, I'm going to shout him out because he's going to be in the next slide, but where I got this information. So as you can see, these are the important court dates that are coming up, just what they have to do. Basically, most of this is just procedural. So on February 18th, which has already passed, they had initial disclosures. March 11th, they had a joint proposed protective order. March 14th, initial request for production documents, interrogatories. That's what's coming up. April 18th, deadline for filing any motions, yada, 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 yada. All leading up to the court hearing that is happening next year, if one happens. Now, according to all the pundits, they're not seeing that a court hearing will pull through. So shout out to Zach Peter. That's the the Twitter page in which I saw the court dockets and the court dates that he put in a nice little spreadsheet for us. And so here we've got a summary of the Zoom call. So there was a Zoom call that happened between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's team, and also Leslie Sloan's team, because she is wanting to be released from this lawsuit. And also the New York Times is wanting to be released from this lawsuit. So shout out to Zach Peters. Let's hear what we have to say. All right. So that was a hearing earlier, and I thought that that was going to be the Zoom call that they had last week. Let me find that one really, really quickly. Give me one moment. I do apologize. Again, there's so much stuff going on. And so if I don't find that one, I'm going to look for it. But we're going to continue on. Let's see what else we have here. Apparently, Blake Lively has lost about 1.2 million followers uh, on Instagram. Now, this is coming from the Economic Times. Apparently, she's lost $1.2 million followers. Let's see if we can click this to see if it'll. Let's see if I have that. Yes, it says she faces major Instagram backlash, losing 1.2 million followers. Now I don't know how they calculate it. Well, I won't even go in there. So basically, let me read what I have. So basically, it looks like ugh, uh, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. So I'm getting this from the Economic Times. It is written by. It's not saying who it's written by, but it's the Economic Times. It says here that Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's ongoing feud and legal battles have significantly affected their social media followings. Lively lost over 1.2 million Instagram followers amid the allegations and legal conflicts, while Baldoni gained 360,000 new followers. So it says here public opinion has shifted, mainly favoring Baldoni after leaked messages and interviews surfaced, revealing tensions behind the project. Interesting, interesting, interesting. We won't go all the way through it, but from all the information that has come out, from all the information that has been provided, and from all the interviews that we have seen from Blake Lively and all this stuff, I could see where the differences in the following, the folks that are following her. I just don't know if 1.2 million people followers did. I mean, that seems like a lot, because again, I'm not questioning it, but it just seems like a lot of people that would follow because the numbers for Justin Baldoni seems realistic. Uh, the 1.2 million Instagram followers gone. I don't know of how realistic that was, unless some of them were bots. Just being real, unless some of them were bots. And that has happened. I don't know if you all have been around Instagram as long as I have been around Instagram. There was a period of time when, like someone like me, who's just very sporadically posting on Instagram, very sporadically doing some. All of a sudden, you would see someone like with my particular channel, all of a sudden have 100,000 subscribers to their channel on Instagram, and however, they're still putting out the same post. You go to my Instagram, I probably average uh 5, 15, anywhere from 20 to 30 people reviewing my post or anything like that. And I'm not as active on Instagram as I am on Twitter, X right now, and it always changes for me. So right now, if 20 or 30 people go, that's how it was, but it doesn't make sense if I've got 100,000 subscribers. You at least see 10% of those, anywhere from 5 to 10% of your subscribers at least interacting with your content. But you'd see those people with 100,000 subscribers and have like 20 or 30 people interacting with their content. And then Instagram one day just had come on and said, hey, there's a lot of people who have bought their subscribers. They've bought these bots, they bought these things. And so what they did is that they got rid of all the bots And so people who had like 100 some thousand followers, and then they were getting whatever perks or whatever they were supposed to be getting, those things quickly went away because their actual true subscriber count came up, and they had probably maybe 40, 50 to 100 something subscribers. Now, don't get me wrong, any level of subscriber, in my opinion, is a good thing, but to bolster your numbers to be able to do to get other kind of perks is, knowing that truly no one is watching your stuff is craziness. Uh-oh, what did I do? This was an interesting article. Let me pull it up. Lively versus Baldoni, how right-wing influencers are weaponizing the fight to take down Me Too. And this is interesting. Let me find this article really quick over here. All right. And this is from Zeteo, and it's written by Taylor Lorenz. And it says here, that conservative commentators are leveraging the high profile case to dismantle support for Me Too and amass unprecedented audience growth. And so basically why this is important, why this article kind of fit, because I did started noticing, if you notice, like conservative pundits like Candace Owen, like this lady here, Megyn Kelly, they have come on through here, and they have what's interesting, Megyn Kelly seems to be very, very interesting because she's lambasting both of them. She doesn't like Justin Baldoni because Justin Baldoni is someone who is his character is his character. He says that he supports women. He identifies as a feminist, so she doesn't really like him. But then she doesn't like Blake Lively because Blake Lively is represented by the Me Too movement, and you know that conservatives do not like that. They don't believe that, honestly. And if I'm misrepresenting, y'all let me know. But usually conservatives don't believe that people can be sexually harassed or all these little different things. They believe that people are just crying wolf. So it is interesting to see, and we do see Candace Owens, her viewership has increased tremendously. Seems that she has, as far as with the political stuff, she has kind of come down here. And any kind of celebrity goings ons, she is really focused in, and she's really focused in on this Lively and Baldoni information. And we do see that their numbers come up, but it is interesting that there might be a causal reason why this is happening. And according to this, let's read what this author says. It says, last month at the Conservative Political Action Conference, Megyn Kelly took the stage in front of thousands of people. And she says, have you heard about what's happening with the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni case? She asked the crowd. Are you obsessed with this case? There are millions of people who are obsessed with this case. Over the course of the next 20 minutes, she spoke in details about this. Now, this is over at CPAC. They're supposed to be Conservative Political Action Committee. They're supposed to be talking about all things conservative, but she's pushed this forth. Kelly is just one of a roster of conservative influence dominating the Lively Baldoni coverage. White ring creators, including Candace Owens, has been to the forefront of the case, while mainstream liberal creators following in their footsteps, offering laundering right wing talking points to their progressive audience. Conservative influencers are not just covering the Lively and Baldoni story more frequently than anyone else. They're covering it faster, in more detail, and providing the most compelling, up to the minute storylines, which is true. I will tell you, when you follow a lot of people who are following this case, they've got ins and outs in here. Candace Owens is talking to people about things that no one else is talking about. But I will say some of who I believe are liberal leaning podcasters, they are also talking about social implications of this case as well. So I think it's pretty balanced, but I am intrigued about the fact that there are a lot of conservative commentators that are talking about this show. I would think that they would still be talking about political stuff, which is interesting. So now, what's interesting is that now that your party is in office, you're not talking about anything about what's going on with the things that they're doing. I thought that that would be the highlight of what you would do. But what I'm seeing is people are not as interested in talking about Donald Trump and Elon Musk as people thought they would. So they're not getting the clicks and views by talking about Elon Musk and Donald Trump, but they are definitely getting the clicks and views talking about this Baldoni case. What do you all think about that? Let's continue. You leave it down in the comments. Um, Now, here we have Ari Emanuel. And let me see. Now, Ari Emanuel is the person that owns the WME, a part owner of the WME. He is the person who, hey, Loyalty, how you doing? He is the person who fired Justin Baldoni, and there was an audio leak of him talking about that he did that and why he did that. Now, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds said that they didn't talk to him or do anything, but he had made mention in this particular uh, podcast, which they couldn't find the audio or something happened to the audio, but then someone found it, or they couldn't find the podcast where all of this was said, but someone found, I guess, the audio or found the podcast and got the audio from it. So he did mention on some things. And so it says here, does Ari Emanuel's leaked audio hurt Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds? Lawyer has an uplifting update for Justin Baldoni fans. So let's just kind of go over this. So this is by Fandom Wire, written by Anshari. So we're going to go over the summary. You are not seeing the article on the screen. You're just seeing this information on here because this is my PowerPoint on it. But I'm just going to be reading the article on the side of the screen. Okay. And I'm doing that because I'm having issues with clicking back and forth to the articles and stuff like that. And you all just basically not seeing it anywhere. So I figured that if I did the PowerPoint this way, you'll definitely be able to see this. And so it says, in summary, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have been taking a hit to their reputation for the last few months due to their legal battle with Justin Baldoni. What makes matters worse was Ari Emanuel's Freakonomics podcast audio getting leaked recently. As per a lawyer, this leak audio could prove to be dire for Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. It says Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's legal battles is taking a new turn every day. The two former co-stars have reportedly been feuding since their time on the set of It Ends With Us. However, things took a turn for the worse after Lively filed a SH lawsuit against Baldoni in December. So it's just basically going over that. And interestingly, other big names from the industry have been dragged into the drama recently. For example, a leaked audio of Ari Emanuel has been making the rounds for the past few days, where he explained his reasoning for siding with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. How does his involvement really impact the case? A lawyer gives his input. And so the question was asked of this particular attorney, does Ari Emanuel leak audio impact the Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds case? Let's see. Excuse me, because they have a lot of ads that pop up on there, and then it just moves stuff. So I've got to figure. All right, so here we go. So Ari Emanuel appeared on a live event for the Freakonomics podcast in February. During the interview, he gave his input about the whole Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively legal battle in light of him firing It Ends With Us director from his WME agency. As per the rap, he went on to say that his decision was made purely out of his friendship with Blake Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, as he has known them for a long time. Moreover, he isn't sure if what they are alleging is indeed true, but if it is, then they are really bad people. He also mocked the director's name, referring to him as Justin Baldoni, probably in an attempt to come off as humorous. Now, what's interesting about this is that the Freakonomics host claimed that due to some technical issues, the live episode never got recorded. Hence, they would not be able to release it on their channel for a wider audience. In a strange twist of fate, though, the audio from that event where Ari Emanuel gave his 2 cents got leaked on the social media of recently. And was leaked. If you follow Colonel Kurtz on X, she leaked it. It would be safe to say that people are not exactly happy about it. Now, now, if you're not familiar with Ari Emanuel is the brother of Rahm Emanuel, who used to be the chief of staff for the Obama administration, and then went on to become the mayor of Chicago. And so Ari has a lot of political and influential people in his face, and he's very, from my understanding, very influential in Hollywood. And so it has always been reported. It's been reported in Justin Baldoni's sphere that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, because of their relationship with Ari Emanuel, they know Ari Emanuel not only in a professional way but also in a personal way. That they kind of convinced him that it would be that they need, they have been harmed and that he possibly need to get rid of them. This is all alleged, and so he fired him, or he released him on the talent agency. Justin Baldoni is saying that has been the his being fired or let go from that talent agency has everything to do with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. And when this first came out, they denied that happened. And now we hear him say that he did that because they are his friends, not because there's not because there are allegations given, not because of anything else other than their friendship. And the Freakonomics podcast, in an effort to try to save face for him, and you can't make me believe any different, trying to save face for him, they had technical issues that was able to get rid of this the audio. They say it's the audio, but somebody found it. It doesn't take much to be able to find it, and it was found. And so now they're having to answer some questions. Right. They literally, exactly. And here's the thing I think that no one wants to talk about is they weren't expecting. I don't think that they were expecting him to fight back. And that's the whole thing. I think that I don't expect they were thinking that he was going to fight back. They were going to be able to use their cachet in Hollywood to be able to bury this person. And I don't think that they thought that he was going to fight back. And if he did fight back, that's when they were going to be talking about, oh, well, it's Darvo. Oh, it's this, it's that, it's all of these different things. But now we're starting to see that there are just a lot of different aspects of this thing and why so many people are team Baldoni. Now, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of people that are team Lively, but you can tell why people are team Baldoni is because every turn you're finding out information of how Ryan Reynolds and how Blake Lively are allegedly using their influence to influence a lot of these things in Hollywood. But it seems like it's just not going their way. And that has everything. And I want you all to understand, I think that has everything to do with citizen journalism. Because people are not accepting what mainstream media is putting out there. They are fact checking for themselves. And I do understand that what mainstream media tries to put in play, circa crisis PR teams or regular PR team, is that because watch, as this case gets closer to going to court, you're going to start hearing stories about a lot of just and let me know. We'll come back to this if this doesn't happen. You're going to start seeing a lot of stories where they're trying to make citizen journalists appear to be fanatic, crazy, whatever the terminology for people to say, oh, well, don't listen to them because they're batshit crazy. You see what I'm saying? So you're going to see a lot of this stuff come out as it gets closer, because again, we're finding out as the entertainers here, we often know when we look at these stories, we start looking at these stories with who has the spin. Who is this story? Number one is supposed to benefit. Who is this story is supposed to denigrate? And go through there and find basically if the truth of anything. You know, I've said a lot of these mainstream journalists have an incestuous relationship with Hollywood and PR teams. So you're seeing a lot of stories now that I have to go back and question what is the relationship between this journalist and this PR team or this PR firm, or are they actually giving us actual stories? I still use their information, but we here over here, the entertainers know we have to dissect the stuff that we see. And come to the conclusion. No one over here is making you think one way or the other. You take the information, you do your critical thinking from the knowledge that you have, and that we move on. Again, there are some people here who are team Baldoni. There are some people over here that are team Lively. But as I tell my entertainers all the time, I'm team truth. I want to hear all the information so that we can make a decision about what's going on. And we are getting an education, a doggone master's degree, and so to speak, on PR teams, how PR teams are affecting how we are affecting our reality and how we view entertainers in this thing. So let's continue. In light of that, Popcorn Planet, that's another YouTuber that is covering this case as well. Host Andy Signor invited lawyer Greg Dahl for an interview on his channel to understand the legal ramifications Emmanuel's controversial audio clip can have on the Justin Baldoni Blake Lively case. According to the lawyer, this might work in favor of the Justin Baldoni camp against the Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, that alleged that they were responsible for WME dropping him as a client. And it says here, this is, I guess, a quote from him. Greg Dahl, what you're trying to prove in a defamation case is that you actually suffered damages related to whatever you're defamed about or whatever was mistruth about you. And sometimes that's a hard nexus to prove. It's going to be a hard nexus for Lively to prove that her skincare line tanked because of the negative publicity. But I think what we are seeing now with this quote is that WME absolutely got rid of him because of these things that were said. So now he has got a clear line to get damage support. Although the agency refuted the claim at first, this audio clip of owner Ari Emanuel seems to have cemented Baldoni's point. Because you remember back in, what was it, January, they put out a statement, no one at WME said anything. But now you have the boss of WME saying, no, I got rid of him because, I'm friends with Blake Lively and them. The lawyer made an interesting point that he believed that Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni should settle the case, which will be interesting to me. Because again, there's so many different moving parts with this case. Particularly, you've got Blake Lively suing Justin Baldoni. You have you have Stephanie Jones of Jones Works suing Justin Baldoni. Then you have Justin Baldoni suing Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, Leslie Sloan, her organization, and the New York Times. And I'm thinking, isn't he suing Jones Work as well? I'm not sure about that because there's so many people. You have so many different moving parts to this, which will be interesting. But if they decide to settle, if they decide to settle and want to settle this case quietly, I don't know how quietly they're gonna have to settle this case, because either way, their reputations are gonna be tanked. Will they be cast out of Hollywood? I doubt it, because regardless, Ryan Reynolds is he is a box office success. People come to see him. I doubt that, because again, if you stay off the internet and if you go quiet and then come back with a redemption arc, people are more readily to gravitate back towards you. But let's continue, because I want to get through this article, because we've got so much more and I don't want to take up all of you all's time. But I do appreciate you being here. And as you all are here, whether you're watching here or on Twitch or on Twitter, y'all hit that like button or hit whatever button you need to hit, or come from all those other places and come back over here and hit those like buttons for me. The host and the lawyer further discussed whether the recently leaked audio would help Justin's case even more than the initial reports from journalists on Ari's controversial statements. According to Greg Dahl, this is a damning. According to Greg Dahl, while the news articles would be enough under the law, however, in the real world, the audio holds more weightage. This is a damning quote, and it really shows. I mean, this dispute, these words were said by Lively's side, had a clear, immediate negative impact on Baldoni's career. The lawyer further claimed that this case now has become so personal, even with the constant media circle around it, that it might never reach a definitive conclusion at all, especially if he believes that there will be more details emerging about it that would only enrage the masses even more, which is true, because as more information comes out, people those of us in this parasocial relationships that we have with Justin Baldoni, with Blake Lively, with Ryan Reynolds, with all the people that are involved, people seem to take real personal about this case, and are real personal about who they are repping. And so there are a lot of people that will, that takes all of this information really, truly to heart, and it's going to have a big, severe impact. All right. So that was pretty much that article. What do you all think about that? How this leak audio, how do you think that, do you think he'd be one of the people that they're going to depose? I hope so. I hope so. I want to hear more about Ari Emanuel. I want to hear more about him and his power in Hollywood. All right. Let's see. All right. What went down at the Another Simple Favor premiere? Y'all. This past weekend at South by Southwest, the premiere of Another Simple Favor premiered. This is the movie that's going, I think it's going to Amazon Prime. This is the movie that Anna Kendrick and Justin Baldoni, Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively. This is the sequel to A Simple Favor. And so it's the sequel. They were out there at South by Southwest. There was a lot of stuff going on. Colonel Kurtz, who is a YouTuber, she was out there with her sign talking about Blake Lively is a liar. There were red carpets appearances, and Blake Lively got out there. I just love everybody, and everybody loves me. She did costume changes. But what was interesting to me about that whole thing, for me looking at the clips and things like that, one of the things that came up that was very interesting to me is the way that Anna Kendrick was talking on the red carpet. Someone asked her about, what did she think about Blake Lively and all this other stuff? And she was very curt, like, well, I'm doing ayahuasca and all this other stuff she was saying, but she was not trying to speak on her co-star. Now, it is been reported that when they made the first movie, that Anna and Blake did not get along. And so again, these are actresses. They're up here acting. They're standing next to each other and all of this other stuff. But I will say this, just because I did see it, I did like that outfit. I did like that dress on Blake Lively. I did like the top being like this liquid. What do you call that? Latex like look. I did like that. It was cute to me. I liked it, but anyway. But they were not talking. They were not doing anything. So let's talk. So we have here the cut where this article comes from, and it says it's written by Olivia Craighead, and it said what went down at the Another Simple Flavor premiere, and they asked simple questions. They asked a couple of questions, and they said, did Anna Kendrick say anything about Blake Lively at the premiere? Not really, but people try desperately to get a soundbite. In a moment that has gone massively viral, Kendrick is taking selfies with fans outside of the premiere and is asked, "What does it mean to be working with Blake Lively again?" And she walks past the person asking, but say, "Oh, you know." And they posted that the video. I think I saw it on X about at least 10 to 15 times off of different people who were covering this case. It tickled me so bad. And then they had what did Lively say? She was all smile throughout the whole event. When asked about how it felt to be reunited with Kendrick, she said, "Oh, it's the best. I'm so happy to be here." And she was hugging and kissing on fans, which was interesting because she usually, I have not seen her in other things do stuff like this. And I mean, she was absolutely, I mean, in big hugs. And with our cynical mind now, do you think that those people were plants in the crowd, and she knew who she's supposed to go up and hug and who she wasn't supposed to go up and hug? Because everybody was dissecting everything that she was doing, but she was definitely hugging and kissing on fans, which to me is, I don't know about the hugging and kissing part, but taking selfies and all those other things, I think that, at those types of situation is something that the stars should be doing. So there was an interesting story reported about Paul, is it Feig or Feig, his wife. She was out there caping for Blake Lively, being this overly dramatic. Everyone thought that she was fan, but she was out in the crowd being very overly dramatic about Blake Lively and how the film is and how everybody should be supportive of the film and all this other stuff. And which is cool, but I have one question. Why was she not walking the carpet with her husband? Why was she in the crowd with everyone else? Huh? Because there's one thing, there's nothing wrong with caping for Blake Lively if you're going to do something like that. But why were you out in the crowd with the people taking selfies? I know. I I'm just waiting for someone to say, because again, people bring their spouses and things like that to these premieres and they walk the carpet with their spouses all the time. Was there some restriction that she couldn't do that? Because I can't understand why you would be in the audience hollering and screaming and caping for Blake Lively. Now, that scene, that's something that I would love for someone who has talked or said about it. That is something that I would love to see if somebody would investigate, because that is quite interesting. Quite interesting that you were sitting out here hollering and screaming in the doggone. You were hollering and screaming in the doggone crowd, but you are not walking the carpet. That makes no sense. Yeah, exactly, loyalty. That is such a good question. Somebody needs to answer that question for me, because I don't understand it. I clearly don't understand why you're out in the crowd when you should be walking the red carpet. But y'all, let's continue. It's Justin Baldoni breaks his silence on a podcast. This is just a clip he talked with someone, and now I can't, it escapes me the person's name, but he is someone who practices the same religion that Justin Baldoni practices, and this is just a clip of what we saw, and I got this from the Daily Mail. Don't see it right here, but let's see if we can listen to this clip. So that was the it's Gents Talk, and it came out in February. So I think a lot of people have seen this video, but I don't think I had talked about it in any type of depth or anything like that. But just to know that it is up and you can go see it, and that he goes over, I think, as deep as he can about what's going on and how things are going and how his mental capacity is going right now. And people are not realizing the emotional effects of all of these types of stuff, and particularly, and this is why I was saying how when people talk about believe all women, believe all stuff, you need to believe the facts too. You need to believe the information that's coming out. Now, no one should be dogpiling on that person who comes up, and that is an issue that I have. Don't dogpile on people. But I do have issues if we show that certain things are are not true. I am very much in favor of, if we've got legislation and stuff like that for certain like thing, there should be legislation for false reporting as well, because you're wasting people's time, you are causing harm to people's reputation, you're doing all these things like that. But that aside, it is important to know that these cases do have emotional and mental health replication repercussions for people. And so again, that podcast is out. You can go check it out. This right here is what tickled me to death. This man right here. Now, again, I understand clearly when you want to be missed with the BS. But what I can't stand is someone who is throwing rocks and hiding their hand. They're doing subliminal things, but we see you do something. So what are we talking about? So it ends with us star Brian Skinner addresses the reason behind wearing the same pin as Justin Baldoni. Now, he appeared on a red carpet, and he appeared to have the same pin that Justin Baldoni had written, and a lot of people had put their input in, thinking that this was because he was in solidarity with Justin Baldoni or anything like that. But let's get to what he basically said about him wearing the pin. And so this is from E! News, written by Olivia Evans. It's and here it is on the screen right here. This thing. It ends with us, Brandis Kulinar. I think I'm saying it's Kulinar, who recently wore the same brooch as Justin Baldoni, set the record straight on his outfit choice and if it's tied to the director's legal battle with Blake Lively. He says he's remaining neutral. He says here, and this is the quote he gives: "That was total happenstance." Justin told People on March 9th in a March 9th interview, "I woke up in the morning and saw an article and was like, oh, damn, I literally had no idea. I had an idea that I wanted to wear a floral brooch of some kind, and that was the color I liked best. And lo and behold, someone also wore that prior to me wearing it. As for whether there's any reason Brandy sported the piece of jewelry, he says, quote, honestly, no, he noted. I wish I could say there was." It ends with us actor has, let me see. They're just talking about that. Let me see. He continued, "I just want people to remember that why we made the movie. in the first place and what it stands for, and just keep the focus on that. So he says that he just found a blow up for. Listen, let me be very clear about a couple of things, because these actors and these people will sit and tell you all of these different things, and I think that they think that we are as obtuse and silly and ignorant as they think that we are, and we're not. Because my question is, out of all the brooches in the world, that's the brooch that you wore. Where did you get the brooch? Was that a brooch that was given to the cast? Because that would make more sense to me. If you would say, oh, this is a brooch that was given to us from the cast, and on that particular day, wherever he was, I felt like I wanted to wear something with some florals on it. And since I had that brooch, that's what I wore. That would have made perfect sense, because if we're talking just being in generalities, men don't usually have brooches just sitting somewhere that they can wear. Generality. So my question is always, where you get the brooch from? And I don't think he think that anybody was going to ask him, ask him anything like that. And I don't think a lot of these, listen, anybody that's tied to this Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively case, even if it's superficially tied, there are a lot of people that are looking at you. There are a lot of people that are trying to make connections where there aren't any connections. So, I'm not telling people to be paranoid about what they're doing. I'm not telling you, Brandon, to be paranoid of what to do, but you need to be prepared that there's going to be questions asked of you. Because remember, we saw you was Team Lively all the way. Now your team, it ends with us. What happened? Oh, Scary Girl said they went to the same brooch shop and had the same taste in brooches. But what I just said would have made better sense. You see what I'm saying? He's got to come up with some better ways of saying what he's saying, because that would have been easy. Oh, well, some of us receive brooches and stuff like that on the thing, and I wore it because I had it because I wanted to wear floor. Boom, that would have been the end of it. But you hemming and hawing talking about it was just happenstance. Like, really? Y'all went to the same brooch shop, went to the shop, and you saw it and thought, oh, this is what I'm going to wear. We're not crazy. We're not crazy. We're not obtuse. We see it. We see it. He's trying to cross over to Team Baldoni. Well, baby, you didn't even have to do that. You could have stayed neutral. And I can respect that. Hey, I'm not Team Lively. I'm not Team Baldoni. I'm Team It Ends With Us. I'm very proud of this movie. I'm proud of everyone who worked on this movie and kept it running. Kept it running. But you not miss me with this. Oh, I just saw the brooch and it was happenstance. I don't think so. I don't think so. Let's see. And we did talk about Blake Lively losing 1.2 million Instagram followers. I personally think that they were bots on her account anyway, but because she has a crisis PR manager, she is able to say, "Oh my gosh, this is what is happening to me. I'm losing followers because of this case, because people don't believe me, and they should be believing me when I said that this happened." But you let me tell it, because again, as the entertainers here know, and I've said it all the time, she's getting her money with this crisis management thing. I think that they were bots in the beginning. I don't know how many Instagram followers she initially had before this 1.2 million Instagram followers faded off. And I don't know how many of these 1.2 Instagram followers were actual followers. But I'm sorry, people move, and maybe it was in waves, but I have a sneaky suspicion that possibly when her crisis management PR person, who was from the CIA, went through her Instagram account, they probably saw that there were a lot of bots and was able to turn and twist this into, hey, we can use this as this is what you're losing because of the negative publicity. These are the things that you're losing, even though possibly the truth is that these were bots or fake accounts. We can use that and spin that, because again, it's all about who controls the narrative. You lost 1.2 million Instagram. Now, in the schemes of how PR is working, that's not a bad that's not a bad way to get it to spin it. But I don't know. I just can't believe that 1.2 million accounts just went away overnight, other than the fact that possibly I could see probably 200,000 Instagram persons were gone, but that million that you had were probably bots in a thing. And that's why you know so much about Instagram accounts and bots and people manipulating things like that, because you know you got a whole account full of bots. And again, the story that I told you before, which was true, there were YouTubers who, I mean, not YouTubers, but it was possibly happening on YouTube as well. But I know a few years ago, it probably was like 2012, 2013, 2014, YouTube was cracking down on the fake accounts that weren't, you know, they were fake accounts used to inflate people's numbers, and they got rid of those fake accounts off of people's accounts. And people who had like 100 some thousand people went back to their having their 1,000 people who were following them, because again, usually anywhere from 5 to 10% of your followers are always pulling up in your information. And so there's no way that anyone thought that an account that like mine is over on Instagram got 100,000 people and didn't have a viral video. Just 100,000 people one day decided, "Ooh, your stuff is good." Let's see what we have here. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni in court. Live updates as actors seek strongest protection. Let's see. I think this is. Let's see. Because I think I've got some things out of order. I was trying to put things in order. Let's see what this Yahoo Entertainment. Yes, so this one is talking about the hearing. I think this is the one that is actually talking about the hearing. And I think this is this is talking about the hearing. So let's go ahead and talk about what happened on Thursday. And this is written, it's actually coming from Yahoo Entertainment, written by David Artava. And y'all, in the description box attached to this video, all of these articles that I'm going over are down in that description box, and you can definitely go back through and look at them, because I like to make sure that my sources are given the credit that they do deserve. And plus, you know, when anybody asks me, I can tell you this is where I formed my opinion about what's going on. And make sure y'all are hitting that like button as you all are coming in and out. I do appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. It says here, in a hearing held Thursday about Lively's request for a stronger protective order in the case, the actor's attorney cited a fear of a lack of privacy, and that based on how this case has played out so far, there are 100 million reasons for these parties to leak information because the PR value is greater than complying with the court's order. Baldoni's team pushed back, arguing the current protective order is strong enough. Now, in that hearing, from what I understand, Blake Lively's team was arguing, oh, well, we don't want sensitive medical information to be leaked to the public, or the public to have access to sensitive medical information. Our client is, receiving threats. Our clients are all these little different things. Justin Baldoni's lawyer was like, look, y'all were the one to put the information out out here in the zeitgeist yourself. You all put that information out here, particularly on Justin Baldoni. You gave your information to the New York Times. The New York Times put all this information out here saying that he SH'd you before you had like a hearing or anything like that. You all put all this information out, and now that you're getting the backlash from that, now you don't want any more information to go out. You don't want any, you want to be able to protect yourself, but you still want to be able to throw dirt on somebody else's. I know that Leslie Sloan's lawyers were arguing that they had proprietary information on how they do business, and they don't want that information because some of the information they're going to have to give over is talking about some proprietary information, and they don't want to give any of that out. All of those different things. They talk about receiving violent messages. Blake and her attorneys talked about receiving all these types of things. Let's see. They want certain information in the discovery process to be for attorneys' eyes only. So no longer do they want us to be able to look up the exhibits and things like that on Pacer, I guess, to see what's going on. As detailed in Miss Lively's amended complaint, Miss Lively, her family, and other members of the cast, various fact witnesses, and individuals that have spoken out publicly in support of Miss Lively have received violent, profane, sexist, and threatening communications, the letter said. In a statement, Baldoni's lawyer said that they do not condone dangerous rhetoric targeted towards anyone, no matter the situation, and called these messages abhorrent. They said Baldoni and others received similar threats, which are true. So both sides are receiving, because again, everybody is either Team Lively or they're Team Baldoni. And you'll have people putting out information and tweets and things like that under articles or anything like that. From that, there's a lot of stuff that is going out, and you'll see, if you've been following this case, you have seen it. Please, y'all, act like don't put anything out that you don't want to have to come back at you and have to be questioned. My tenet has always been, if I don't have anything nice to say about you, and I don't have a way to constructively criticize the actions that you've done, not you as a person, but the actions that you've done, I won't put it out there. That's just how I do. I have to look and see, am I criticizing the action or the behavior, or am I trying to criticize you? I'm not trying to criticize you. I'm just trying to go over where I want to be able to say that action that you've done or that behavior that you exhibited. This is how I feel about that. This is what I think about that. This is how you could, sometimes I try at the most to be able to be really constructive, but most of the time just to say, hey, this isn't right. This doesn't seem right. I think the most recent time that I did that, I don't know if you all have heard about the young track, the high schooler that was bopped on the back of the head by another runner with a baton. And I think she did an interview, as I remember, and she was crying and she was talking about, what about me? What about me? You all are reaching out. What about me? And I'm like, I wish that her parents did not allow for her to be on TV, be on television, because she was crying, and within her crying, it didn't seem very coherent. And I had just typed, what we saw does seem to be, it looked to be intentional. Now there's more information that continues to come out with that. However, I've seen many people are on there, and even if, let me see, loyalty, I see what you said. Even with this belief, what I've seen under those comments, you still have to remember she's 16, 17 years old. And we have to hold our mouths on how we talk to children, because I don't want anybody to talk to any of my children out of sorts. Because I don't want anybody talking to my children. Well, I don't have any children. Let me. I don't want anybody talking to my nieces and nephews with vitriol out of their mouths like that. And that's why I don't like to see when these young people are out here in out on social media trying to deal with that. I think that the parents should not have allowed them. And even the parents of the young lady that got bopped, I think that the parents should have been the persons that have talked to the media, and not the children. Let the parents talk to the media. Let the parents put it out there. Because again, I'm not of this generation where social media, I was born into social media and social media has been out there. So I'm not of this generation. So I know how to, I know how to turn, as Kendrick Lamar says, turn the TV off. I know how to come off of here, and I know how to go outside and touch some grass, get out and commune with fellow people and stuff like that. And my life is not built on being on social media all the time. These young people, 16, 17 years old, they didn't grow up like that. And it, you know, like I said, I think that there are some consequences that she has to deal with. I think, I'm hoping that the high school, the governing body, does the job that they need to. Um, we'll see if she's going to be charged or not. Uh, Let people who have run track view that video and see what they say about it, to see what they say, because to us, me as a layman, it looks like she intentionally popped her. But from a different angle, you do see both of them stumbling and falling, and you do see the young lady that got hit. She looks, her body, she was still in her lane, but most of her body was over in the other lane. So it's a whole lot of different things going on. But again, it's one thing to criticize, constructively criticize the behavior. It is something totally different to then start talking, telling that, look, you know, because some people were in there literally saying that she should get beat up, that she should get, you know, be pruned from the timeline. There are people who are really talking, and these are grown folk. Because I went through a couple of people's thing. I mean, and what really surprised me in that, it was a lot of grown men saying these things. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't like that. But let's continue. Let's continue. So let me see. On February 25th, Baldoni's lawyers officially responded in court and claimed Lively is trying to, quote, prevent the public from accessing more evidence. Given how actively the Lively parties have publicized and litigated Miss Lively's claims in the media, we are surprised to now learn how vehemently she wants to prevent the public from accessing material and relevant evidence, they wrote. On February 18th, Lively filed an amended complaint against alleging Baldoni made two female cast members uncomfortable on set, and we went over that amended report. Lively accused Baldoni of SH and misconduct, and accused him and others of orchestrating a smear campaign. Baldoni has denied these claims, and he's also filed a claim, a $400 million lawsuit against Lively, their publicists, and alleging defamation and extortion. And again, he's also sued the New York Times. Also, with the New York Times, hold on. I agree, because there should be age protection. However, in my opinion, she should have some consequences. Exactly. Exactly. It should be more than an apology. Yeah, I think so too. And you and I agree right here. I like I said, I looked at the behavior and it appears to me, but I am not a person. Number one, you know, you can clearly see I'm not a person that runs track. I mean, I probably could do the little the shot put thing, but I'm clearly not a person that runs track. So I would, there needs to be consequences. Whoever is the governing body for that track meet, they need to make a recommendation about what, I clearly think there should be some consequences. I do think that there should be more than an apology. I think that this could be a learning lesson for these young people, for these young people, is particularly her. There should be some learning lessons. Should there not be any criminal charges? I don't know. But that's why I want whoever it is, the governing body of that particular high school meet, to meet, let these other track thing, let them review the stuff, let them see, let them look to see if it's something like that. But again, I think that these two little, if she wants to go and apologize to this young lady, I think that that should be something done outside of the public eye. If there's going to be charges, then again, she's 16 or 17. She's still, you know, I don't know what the laws are in Virginia in regards to that. Will they charge her with assault? Will they charge her any of those things? Because there's so many that, you know, take her off the track team. remove her from the track team. Should there, because if these are usually track meets, football games, and stuff like that are considered to be school events, you possibly suspend her, any of these types of things. But I think that when you're talking about minors and you're talking about things, and at this point, there's nothing criminal, I don't see the positive of putting these young people's faces on television. Yes, I do understand they have a thing of the track meet, but to sit down and to do interviews and things like that, I think those things do more harm than they do good. And I always err on the side of children. I want to make sure that children, they do receive the consequences that they need to receive for their action, but I also want to err on the side of safety, because I think that this can move unsafe real quick. And particularly when you have grown men, grown women getting in the middle of it, it'll move quickly, and I don't like that. Hey, Leanne, how are you today? So it moves real quickly. Now Leanne does she reviews this as well. So y'all follow her channels and all her social medias and things like that. Because she comes up with some nice little theories and things like that. So y'all follow her as well. But it moves real quickly, real crazy, real crazy, especially when you have young children. And I will say this: it gets really unsafe, particularly with young girls, because of the cattiness of it all. And we can sit back and act like you don't know what I'm talking about, but we can. Young girls at that age can get real catty, can get real, and that can get real unsafe really quick. But let's continue. I do have. Let me put that back on the screen. So let's see what this Okay. Yeah, I put the wrong places in there, but this should have gone back there with Mr. Sklinar. But when I was talking about his wife, yeah, they were doing this I guess this little promo for that, and he's hawking his tequila or gin or whatever kind of spirit that he is hawking, because in the first movie, Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively got a good product placement of Ryan Reynolds aviation gin. So he's hawking in this particular sequel. It is my understanding that he is selling some kind of spirit, and he's making sure that spirit gets hawked in the movie. And so we've talked about this. Stop the Discovery. New York Times granted win in Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni clash. And basically, what this article is talking about is the fact that the New York Times is in court, wanting to have the case removed, and they want it to be removed under the 12v6 rule. And basically, that is where the judge is going to review the complaint on its face to see if the New York Times followed. They're saying that they followed their rules about uh, public information or legal documents, and they quoted from the legal documents and things like that. There is a YouTubers Asked Two Lawyers. They went over that, and they're saying that there may be some hiccups, and I'm paraphrasing, that because the Megan Twohey said that she got her information from the CRT report and other information. So when they crafted their story, if the story strictly came from the information from the CRT report, that they possibly have a case. But if that reporter pulled information from other places besides that CRT report, then there may be some questions behind that. And also, When did they start this article? Because again, shout out to the internet sleuths and the social media investigators, because they were pulling metadata from the pulling metadata about pictures and stuff like that, that appeared that they had probably had started this article back in October, and being mindful that Blake Lively didn't file that CRT report until December, and then filed a lawsuit later after that. So if you filed before, if they had the report before it was filed, that wouldn't be in my head. So all my legal people, you all let me know if they were reporting from this document that hadn't been filed yet. Is that considered to be a legal document? It's not legal until they file it, correct? Y'all let me know. So there's incidents about that, but they did win because Justin Baldoni's team was wanting to start the discovery process, and they were saying that they wanted the discovery process halted until after the judge rules on this, on their dismissal, rule on their dismissal. Now, if I am understanding, if Justin Baldoni them amend their initial complaint, I think this will halt that 12v6, because there's going to be a totally different, or a totally different new complaint. But my attorney entertainers, y'all let me know if that is the case. And I think we are, let me see. Blake Lively agrees New York Times should exit Justin Baldoni's one-sided legal war with her and Ryan. Update. Okay. And I think that was the end. I think that was the end of that. Let me see. Yeah, and that was just basically they agree with stopping the discovery. So we won't go over that article because I kind of pretty summed it up in there. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this. This is all the Justin Baldoni news Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively news that I have seen to try to condense over the couple of weeks. Is there any information that you all have found out in the last couple of hours that we could go over? Because honey, I keep my Google I try to keep my Google searches up, because this case is back and forth, back and forth. Hold on just a second. Let me check. And check out my other videos. I did like an overview on the death of Gene Hackman, what the coroner's office has revealed. I've also gone over Angie Stone, when her memorial service is going to take place. Let's see. Oh, I need you. So I'm not seeing anything else that's coming out. Ooh, the Lilo and Stitch trailer has come out, so I need to check that out. Hmm. But I don't see anything else. I don't see anything else. Y'all, thank you so much for joining me just on our weekly celebrity update on Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. I've also uploaded a celebrity news video going over the other things that are going on that I have gravitated to in the news. But y'all, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate this. Y'all, please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell a coworker, tell that helper that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos. And before you leave, please make sure you hit that like button, and please share this video on any and all social media platforms. I would greatly appreciate it. It helps me within the algorithm. And as always, people, bye bye.